Hi guys, my name is Mirkovic and my violin school online is metodomirkovic.com. This violin session on YouTube is dedicated to all parents, above all moms and dads who would like to or who already follow their kids in a violin training routine at home on a daily basis. And why I do this violin session on YouTube? Because of, above all, one reason. I said the violin practice on a daily basis. Why I say so? Because it's quite frustrating when a kid, as I was, finds himself or herself in front of the violin score and during the week and feels inside of himself that he can do better, she can do better, but doesn't actually know how to do it. I mean, a love for the instrument is the most important thing. But the second most important thing is the piece of puzzle that, in my opinion, is called the conversion from the written signs in the score, notes, sharps, flats, bow strokes, etc, etc, etc. And when you're just small kid, 5 to 9 years old, and you have no one at home who could actually give you a hand in training your mind, in knowing how to think in order to give the command to your hands, in order to play, in order to make it smooth, spontaneous playing, that becomes quite frustrating. And that is actually what this violin session is about, to give some useful tips one per time, because remember, moms, dads, in order to make your child's brain gain that habit, violin thinking habit, you need to repeat daily hundreds of times. I don't say hundreds of times, but you know, every day, a couple of times, let's say so. Same information, but one per time. 2, it's too much because body cannot remember it, memorize it. It's not theoretic, it's a mind-body union. And so, I promised you in previous sessions that I would explain when we connected until now scale, first of all, in order to, we have to memorize scale. Why? In order to connect the notes from the scale with the fingers that are falling down on the violin neck. So, I said that each note of C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, up and down, corresponds to one finger that we use on the fingerboard for each string of 4 strings, and we until now did connected, memorized, hopefully, 3 fingers for each string. The first, index, the second, the middle, and the third, the ring finger. In order to do so, and in order to make it physically easier, eliminating the obstacles or the difficulties of the beginning process of making fourth finger always fixed on the same place, which is not that spontaneous at the beginning, we use the scotch. For this reason, as I said, we adopted one position, one, let's say, combination for each string equally, which is combination that we did until now: scotch for the first, scotch for the second and third finger, ring finger that falls down next to the second finger, middle finger. It doesn't need the scotch. Why? Because it is placed attached to the second finger. And this combination is, as I said, uniform for all 4 strings. Means we have no always actually the notes of the scale as they are in the scale: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. But we have, as I said, but I also said in the previous lessons, do not think, oh, why it is so, why it is not the same as this in the scale. On the E string, first finger on E, we have F or F sharp. We have F sharp. After F sharp, we have second finger, which is G sharp. On A string, we have A, after that we have B, and then we have C sharp. On this string, we have E, and after we have F sharp. And usually what happened to me when I was a kid, and also what happens to me now with the kids, they ask me usually, and most probably your kid will ask you, and why it is F sharp and not F? Why it is G sharp and not G? Why it is C sharp and not C? Why it is F sharp and not F? Well, not a big deal. Anyway, important to make this distinction. Why? Because violinists, it's not the same approach as on the piano playing. You know, the keyboard of piano, as you already know, has its white and black keys, ebony and ivory. And all white keys, why I'm saying this? Because of us violinists. And to make this so important distinction, above all for a young child who needs to understand this argument in order to make it, to put it on a level of understanding, not just learning it by heart. I mean, so white keys, black keys of the piano would be, white keys would be all natural notes, notes without sharps and without flats. Black keys instead would be all the notes with sharps and flats, all these notes that I already mentioned that your child will ask, why F sharp not F, why G sharp not G, why C sharp not C, why F sharp not F, etc. So it's easier for a piano player at the beginning just to play a scale of Do, of C, C, D, F, G, B, C, because it consists all white keys. For us violinists, we need these 7 notes of the scale in order to memorize them, in order to connect them with our fingers. But our priority is not to play C major scale in the first couple of months of lessons, but our priority is physical placement of the fingers, which is already complicated for a young child in order to memorize falling down placement for each finger at the beginning, and that is why we do not have space enough to think about the scale, physically speaking, but we need to place the fingers uniformly in order to memorize finger combinations. And the finger combination that we adopted until now is scotch and third finger for first 2 fingers, and for third finger just make it fall down next to the second finger. And that is main reason why do we have all mixed up, not corresponding to the scale that child learn in order to connect the notes with the fingers. But again, it's not a big deal, and what to say to the child in order to make it easier to understand this apparently clashing fact that we have notes that are all natural and we have fingers that are sharp, natural. What's going on? Nothing. The fault we can give it to the scotch because of the scotch, that tape of the scotch, that the fingers, not all of them, those sharps that I already mentioned, became sharps. But later, in a couple of next sessions, it will all become much more clear and the pieces of the puzzle will come into the place. Meanwhile, if you want to play with the score in the simultaneous time with the video demonstration, which I realized myself, with the original music backing tracks composed by Mirkovic Production, please do visit my website Violin School, metodomirkovic.com, or simply you can subscribe to my violin channel Metodo Mirkovic, or please do not hesitate to ask me anything that in your opinion could increase the self-awareness in violin progress of your kid on a daily basis. Thank you.